Tomorrow, Samia Yaba, independent candidate movie CPP, era independent, ra Eli Nkomodike ni ane kamudweke na Bruno Agovi Abraham send me message bi anumre be hia akodike ne ye video yeka oti nkomo mo Samia Yaba Holy Star FM nkomo mo rira ene yele be abo na edweka mo nhana wadi bi na ya boa na ohololi nkomondon on hare dweke ovare meka manual CPP chairman na adwene manual kesimu aponako o transform CPP ni oba ye Nkrumah adwene Nkrumah wele farmer Ghana ni CPP nra nwore adwene ka ngoduko ponako ye CPP re noko ba me adre ba me anye oli nkomondon ni aro hare ke Ghana ni NDC NPP benje sheria mo beyela enzanyelele tia Ghana ni enyeboa ohozure noko oha ka edie mo free SHS ni onyi die nwure yo Samia hozo hire nu aka edie no good policies mo renje sheria pare ye awe adwunu nu ana temo president Akufo-Addo ebo won modern edra former president John Dramani Mahama ya de bia mo edie wo ya adwunu mo e mo adwunu na good policies ya de bia mo edie da obi ala odwunu no favre chada bi chere ke opuneke omoye ye running mate no kwa ke onri ehwara oni ezukwa ne mekamo executive ama Jomoro constituency ni oni de bia mo obejechi ni elicheda enzia ohoro zura noko ohare galamse mu edweke we mo ya adwunu no ngishere mo Ghana ye ya obaboa na Ghana nzuri anwa adoyi na azere noko avaifa hudi na galamse zo adela Samia Yaba vale adwene ni ngishere mo bia Ghana ye fazura obaboa na nyane ayeboe ava my wo galamse asanu ala no koda ko ha nwuru be any pre-safety technology man no kwese momonga kire ke be natural voltage protector be vega leti we electrical appliances bia mo usura bo modere ke ba abazo kwale no wanya za ni nyane ni shimo bi se bia use fridge bo modere ke benya be fridge protector bi se use TV bo modere ke benya be TV protector ne bele digital voltage protector no ko work ye extension plug with USB port no ko bele bi leti ele yenje sherie bia bo modere ke benya za ni nyane ka mo bie no avo abo electrical appliances mo bane ye ni nyane awore ri arufudie za ha na ko electrical shop biala e benya natural voltage protector bie wado eto a ele 5 years warranty mo se o secure de bia mo ba do za e within this 5 years ra ye ba sort out mo no problem biala be ada roma ye le fa video shi avia vision wa eke ye dongbele TV meduma ala kwa me anoma subscribe like na share.
Let's talk about you know, transitioning from being a banker, was it?
Oh, and I did all manner of jobs. I mean, I thought this is a very flowery introduction. I mean, I was in England for like 9 years,
right.
And I had to do all manner of jobs before I was a clerk, I was a secretary. I took shorthand. Do you remember shorthand? Well, you don't. You are still young.
No, I do.
Yeah. I do. Shorthand and typing, and I did all. I was a sales girl. I did everything.
This is the daughter of the former president of Ghana.
Absolutely, but that's how it is. But you know something?
Tell us.
Those years,
equipped you for.
Yes, and they taught me how to be humble. They made me understand what people go through. That to make ends meet, how sometimes it's difficult. You can't even make ends meet. You can't even wait till the end of the month. You have to sometimes borrow.
So you went through that?
Of course. Doing more than 2 jobs, studying and working. So it's really given me a good understanding, and it's enabled me to have a great sympathy for people who have to work hard to earn a living. And this has helped me tremendously with the politics, because I have this sympathy and affinity. I wasn't brought up as a privileged or spoiled. Yes, we didn't have that. And I think, you know something, I think our father would have approved. Aside from the fact that he himself went through all that, you know, he had to do all manner of jobs when he was studying abroad in the US.
I can see that your father's legacy has really influenced your political ideology as well. Do you still consider yourself a member of the CPP? I learned just about some days ago, a week ago, you denounced that you are no more a member of the CPP. Is that true?
I didn't say I'm a member or not, but obviously I left the party. But I'm
so
on,
if you
on
the
good
party,
terms.
you're not a member.
Yes, I don't attend.
Samia, help us. Are you a member of the CPP or not? Let's settle that.
I want to be accurate, so I didn't write a a resignation. I didn't say I'm leaving the party. I didn't put it in writing.
But you said it.
But in effect, I am, because I'm not part of the I don't do anything with the party. I don't go to meetings. I'm not standing on a CPP ticket. So yes, in effect, I've left. But it is true that I haven't written anything to say that I've left. But let me tell you that I am on good terms with the party members, and a lot of them, we come, we talk, we consult, because I think I've moved beyond
The CPP.
political parties, beyond that notion of political parties. And I think we must consider, some of us have come to that conclusion, that we are not happy with the extreme partisanship. We don't want to do politics from a purely partisan point of view, but because we need to somehow build consensus. I think we want to prioritize consensus building above everything else. And those who, for one reason or another, can do so without being affiliated with any political party, we are doing it.
Then you suggest everyone goes independent, then, not really belonging to a political party, whether they're NPP, NDC.
Yeah, many cannot do it. Many cannot do it, but I think it's not. You can be with a political party if you want to, or if you have good reason to be, because as I said, we are never going to think alike on every single point. But what I would like to see is in Ghana that is governed by different minds, different orientations, different forces, because they are good. In every party has the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you will. That's a fact. So there are better people in every political party. There are even better people on the shelf, not with any political party. But can you just imagine how better things would be if we got those better people to be our decision makers across the board?
You believe that this winner takes all philosophy or ideology or the practice is just not right?
It's not right in general, but it's even detrimental to our development in Africa, with our smaller economies, with the fact that we need to do so much and we need to focus on certain things like building our industries, our infrastructure. So you need an open mind. You need a completely different way of doing things.
That doesn't stop you from rating the government, and the question was,
no, I can't rate. I can't rate the government because I don't think.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
that. But I can say outright that no government has delivered satisfactory to the people of Ghana.
So the NPP government has not delivered satisfactory.
The NPP government has not delivered satisfactory. The NDC government has not delivered satisfactory. Since we returned to multi-party democracy, no, we are floundering.
CPP under your father didn't.
I think the CPP under Kwame Nkrumah started something good. Yes, because it set the blueprint and laid the foundation for many of the things that Ghanaians have enjoyed today, free compulsory education and other things. But obviously the challenges of today are a bit different. Some remain the same and some are different. But our governments with our small economies, our economies that import too much, we are importing much more, and so our import bill is much higher than our export bill. So how on earth are we going to deliver to our people?
But with that being said, then Samia, you're telling us that we should resign to our fate and no government can actually do it for us.
But there are many ways out.
Okay.
There are things that could make our life better. One of them is consensus building, because then we will prioritize what is most important to us, irrespective of, with party politics, you are sometimes constrained to put your party colleagues, or I don't know what to call your party people, in certain positions. But maybe there's someone better from another party or not from any party. So that is why we began our conversation, and we were saying that, party politics partisanship is not working. So consensus building, I believe if we prioritize in Ghana consensus building over partisanship, we are going to get better results.
Interesting.
And the second very important thing is what we touched upon, that we need to go beyond these colonial borders, if I might call them like this, because that's what they are. We were divided deliberately into small unviable economies. So if we don't free ourselves from that mindset, we are always going to be struggling. You see, and we need not struggle as Africans if we reverse that colonial imprint.
All these years, apart from your father,
no, there are very good things. For example,
yes,
under this NPP government, I'm all for free secondary.
Free SHS.
Yes.
You give President Nanado, thumbs up for that.
Absolutely.
Great.
You know, and even though people say, oh, this is not working, but I've talked to people and many say, oh, without it, we would not have been able to send out. Even if it's hard to get food is expensive, but the main thing is your child.
You rate or score President Akufo-Addo 10 over 10 for that.
Yeah, indeed. And that's what I'm saying. What stands to me is not this president or that president, but the policies. Certain policies stand out and are very good.
Okay, so that's for the NPP. The NDC will be what for you? So under President Mahama will be what? Because you said...
this is because it's more recent. Now I can't think of what the NDC did.
Oh, you can't think of what the NDC...
Because 8 years have passed.
Oh, so you forget...
If you remind me...
President Akufo-Addo's own as well, in the next 8 years, if he should be asked, because it's passed.
I think policies.
Yes.
I don't think individuals. I think policies. So if you remind me of a policy that the NDC had come up with in
no,
the
if I do that, then I'm suggesting to you. And then you say,
but
oh,
you
okay,
can. No, I will evaluate it. I will evaluate it.
I want
you see,
you to independently.
No, I think but I
Go
think
ahead.
it's important. This is part of the discussion.
Okay.
We need to think of.
So what about
policies.
with the NDC running of the economy during their time? You were in Ghana, you were an MP.
No, but
and
that's
then
what I'm
to
saying.
the
Running
NDC.
the economy, nobody's going to run it right
Okay.
in the way we are doing it.
So the NDC will tell you about the healthcare delivery. It will tell you, Bridge Hospital is there. We did the GMC. So healthcare.
Yeah, so they built some good things,
So
but
will
this
you rate
every
them?
government build. Yeah, and the hospital is the good thing.
Okay.
The national health insurance, it is good, but it's not enough for what people. If people get seriously ill,
Right.
they can't afford it. But for very basic things, that's something in the right direction.
Okay.
I don't know whether that's NDC or NPP, but I can only tell you. You see, I don't think NDC, NPP.
Right.
My mind is not wired that way. I think of policies, priorities, and what is good for Ghana. Now, of course, one thing that we have not been able to do successfully is truly to manufacture, to increase our manufacturing capacity, which this must be a priority for us in the years to come, because it's part of the reason why we are importing too much. You see, so it's something that must be addressed with a sense of urgency.
Because we heard him, he says that, well, you didn't make much impact as chairperson of the party because you didn't know the party's history.
I knew, but we wanted to change that. You see, we wanted to change. We wanted the CPP to be Nkrumah's CPP. We wanted a force, a new force that could change things and speak with a different voice and change Ghana. And we had high hopes. I mean, we were enthusiastic. We were willing to do anything, to sacrifice.
And didn't happen.
We couldn't do it.
Do you feel disappointed?
But the forces were too strong.
Do you feel disappointed?
Yeah, of course. I felt disappointed. I even grieved for that. But in a sense, because it was an idea that we held dear, and we just couldn't do it. But then you sit, you think, because when you fall, you don't just fall and you don't get up. You have to get up. And out of that experience, I started thinking, okay, so what can we do now? I believe that you cannot box Nkrumah into a small organization, because Kwame Nkrumah's ideas now, they're everywhere. And I can tell you, there are people in the NPP, NDC, CPP, PNC, PPP, all parties who are Nkrumahist. It is a fact, particularly the younger generation, which is getting to know more with the passage of time. The more time passes, the more we are curious about Kwame Nkrumah, you know? And I remember he had said something like time and truth are inseparable. And I can see it because it is true. There's a curiosity about how he did what he did, how he thought about all this, and this is good for us, I believe. So you can't say Nkrumah is just represented by one small organization. Nkrumah is everywhere now.
Nkrumah is for all.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you happy with the current state of the CPP?
No, because as an organization, of course, I can't be happy.
You are not.
There are many factions and battling, and just gone to Congress now, I believe, very recently. So, of course, I'm not. But I think we have to move on. This is why I'm saying, instead of putting too much effort
on the CPP.
Yes, when the Nkrumahs are everywhere, so why are we limiting Nkrumah's influence?
Now, Samia, you promised to reorganize the CPP when you became the national chairperson. I remember very well.
Yes.
What stopped you from achieving this objective?
Oh, many things, and I tried.
3.
Yes. You want to...
3 things.
Three things?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, dear. Let me try. Okay, number 1. I discovered that smaller parties are not financially independent. And that means what? That they rely on the 2 big parties to survive. And that in itself is a recipe for disaster, because it means we are not going to move forward.
So the NPP, the NDC were financing the smaller parties then? That's as a chairperson. I'd be free. Tell us as it is. That's what it was.
But everybody knows that. But through who? You see, you have to understand how it happens. Because you have the leaders of these smaller parties, and they need to make things happen for the party. Look at how late the smaller parties have their congresses. Can you fathom a guess why? It's lack of funding. And because our society too, you know, whatever I say, I believe, I don't like to blame one particular entity, because it's collectively we are also guilty, because people will not want to support financially a small party or a candidate they think is not going to win. So it's a collective thing,
so
responsibility.
That is one. Lack of funding.
Yes.
2 would be what?
So, and number 2, it's because the leaders are poached, or their alliances with this or that, or then it's very difficult to find consensus or unity, because, you know, there are different agendas and they're just lumped together in one room trying to figure out what to do, but there are different agendas, you know. So it's impossible to unify forces, or very difficult. I think the main
you've given us 2, yes.
Yes.
So these 2.
Yes, they might be more, and I'm sure there are more. But I think my experience as the only MP for the party, as a chairperson of the party. So everything I say, I speak from experience. It's not I heard, nobody told me, I lived it.
You experienced it?
Yes, I lived it. I was on the hot seat, I lived it.
And you know that for a fact?
Yes, and I know that, but that has made me question the whole thing about multi-party democracy. Right. So why do we need to pretend, you know? Like in Ghana, we are a de facto 2-party system. I know it's not only in Ghana, because you could say the US and some other countries, but there you are. So we don't need to force and pretend that we are a multi-party, because all the smaller parties are totally, I mean, they are not making an impact. And then our convictions, it's no longer, we don't need to even be divided into different parties, but because there's very little difference between one and the other. And you can't say there's a left and right, because every party must be concerned with how to provide with social. So what you might call socialist-oriented policies, like free education or free feeding, I mean, that, or with health, or let's look at health. I mean, every party in a developing country, or a country that is struggling to raise the standard of living and provide the basic needs to our people, you can't say you are left or right. Whether you are left, right, or whatever, you have to be concerned with these things, because a big chunk of your population doesn't have enough to live a dignified life.
Interesting reasoning and philosophy indeed. So there has to be some social interventions. I mean, if you look at it, and I like, the tangent that you're coming from. Mami Sewa from Gimpa wants to know from you, and she sent in a message. She says that your brother Samia Nkrumah has asserted that you were manipulated to take leadership at CPP. How true is this? Mami Sewa wants to know. Were you?
No, it's not true at all, and I'm sorry that it had to come from my brother. Yeah, of course. Yes, I hear everything, and I'm sorry it has to come from my brother. But because I have a very strong sense of family, I've decided long time ago never to talk back or respond to whatever my younger brother says.
Were you hurt?
Yeah, I was a bit hurt, yes. I have to admit it, because if it comes from a stranger, it's okay. But when it comes from someone close who's supposed to protect you, and, you can disagree, but we don't need to put each other down. But this is the way life is. And for the sake of the legacy, the great name we carry, I think I have to take it in my stride.
Sell Jomoro to us in a minute.
Oh dear, the best of Ghana, because you have the beaches, untouched, beautiful. I mean, the ocean is all there for you. And then you have the Ankasa reserves, you have the Stilts village. So even from the Fort Apollonia, from even a touristic point of view, there's lots to see. But for me, nature is the best thing. And of course, now there's talk about the petroleum hub, the first phase, and I think the district, it's a long strip. It's big enough to have agriculture and agri-processing, and also a section cordoned off for petrochemical
Interesting.
industry.
So is a hub waiting to be explored and to be tapped into. What do they cultivate there in Jomoro? Because now I believe that we should also be charging our MPs to bring the economic benefit of their various constituencies or districts.
Very important, yes. So I think the municipality is the highest producer of coconuts in Ghana.
Wow.
And yes,
coconuts,
I believe so. Yes, coconuts everywhere. So we need to cultivate more, because that's a precious fruit tree and fruit and nut. And yes, so good. I mean, coconut oil is one of the best for our health, and we must all be using it for cooking instead of the other
oils.
those oils which are not natural. But anyway, but there's also cocoa. It's a cocoa growing district. I mean, there are all the cocoa. That's why there are many farmers from all over the country who come and settle there to grow cocoa. There's rubber in abundance, of course.
Wow.
There's
interesting.
with minerals. Very
Companies.
fertile. I mean, it's wet. It rains heavily there, so it's very fertile. And then, of course, you have the minerals, the limestone, and you have many things. It's just so rich and beautiful, and potentially it could be a wonderful tourist
and I
spot.
believe that, and we wish you the very best. If you should get a nod, if you should get in there, I want to see MPs come up with brochures selling their constituencies or their regions and all of that. I know the Ministry of Tourism is doing that,
Yes.
but MPs should take it upon themselves that they're also the number one ambassadors, or even appoint people who hail from those constituencies or regions to
Absolutely.
become ambassadors to sell, because now we know that there's rubber, there's coconut, there's cocoa in your district. How
Yes,
best can
and
we market
much
it and get people to bring investment there?
cassava, and yes,
We need to do a lot
much
more
more.
as a people.
I agree with you 100%.
Now let's get to this. You know, many speculated that you were going to be named the running mate for Nana Kwame Bediako.
Okay.
Yes, Cheddar of Freedom Jacob Caesar. Great news and all of that. Did he reach out to you about this? Tell us for the first.
Yes, Cheddar did. Yes, but I told him that I've invested too much in Jomoro, and I believe the Nkrumah's tradition must be represented in Parliament, in our decision-making, that decision-making body, because as it is today, it is not with that clarity and conviction. So yes, that I've invested too much in that, and I think I want to see that happen.
As we wrap it, Ola, tell us your candid opinion on Galamsey.
I've thought hard about it. I've seen it. I've seen it even sometimes when I'm moving around. My heart aches for young people who don't have anything to do, who want to get married, have children, they cannot. My heart aches for them. At the same time, of course, my heart breaks for our land, because I'm a bit of a naturalist, and I believe our strength is the goodness of our land, because ultimately that's what we eat, what we breathe, what we drink. So it's when I say something about Galamsey, I say it with a great deal of pain and a sense of responsibility. And I think the first thing I will do is we have to prioritize alternative livelihood for those who are engaged in it, because I can see their point so well. You know, I can see that if you are desperate to live and there's nothing in front of you but Galamsey, you will do it. So I can see that clearly. So I would start by us somehow trying to create alternative livelihood for all those involved in Galamsey. Because of course, it's not a good thing for our land, for our water bodies, for even our spirits, because our land is the most precious thing we have. In fact, the people who pass on, we bury them on our land. So if we don't respect our land, then we are doomed. So that's it. But rather than just be very harsh on those who practice it, I will begin by making sure that we can offer alternative livelihood, but with seriously, not just as a slogan, or
right.
We are not saying it lightly. These young people,
we need to take action.
Yes, these young people are forced to do something terrible to the land
because they have no alternative.
Yes, they are forced to do a very bad thing to the land. So
interesting. As we go, we'll play your favorite song, or maybe.
Yes, come in.
Hey, ko na power fluctuation say your name area. How dey be ankam?
My bomb ho bandada. For protecting all my electronic and electrical gadgets with natural voltage protector. And to say voltage fluctuation so, power surges so, doom so, natural voltage protector and do hamonda.
Oh, I see.
Sure. Me cry you.
Hi.
Good news about Kokorane say, natural voltage protector. It comes with 5-year warranty. The one is so dapper. Ubenya biya to electrical shock biya.
Your fridge protector, TV protector, AVP for air conditioning, digital voltage protector, extension plug with USB port.
Natural voltage protector. My bomb ho bandita.